Welcome back to Zero to Hero. My name's Ethan, and in this video, I'm going to show you ways that you can make major life decisions easier. A lot of people get locked up in this situation where they're trapped in analysis paralysis. They don't know which path to choose moving forward. And in this video, I'm going to show you methods to actually implement in your life that can make making those major decisions easier. Welcome back again. My name is Ethan, and I want to talk about how to make major life decisions in your life easier. I know a lot of people get trapped in this situation where they're looking at changing their life in some way, whether they want a new relationship or they want to change jobs or they want to pursue something big in their life, and they're having a hard time deciding how to actually make that change and which path they actually try to choose to move forward and pursue that dream or that goal. And I want to talk about some methods for actually accomplishing that and getting past any blocks that you have. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that it's very easy for us to look at our past and determine how we got to where we are right now in our life based on past events, based on past decisions that we made. And as they say, hindsight is 20/20. It's easy to see how you got where you are today by examining the choices you made, the events that happened, the actions that you took, the people that you met that brought you to where you are today. You are today a culmination of all those things, that the events that occurred, the decisions you made, they all made you into the person that you are today. So you can use that same methodology when you're trying to make a major life decision moving forward in your life. What I do is I actually just think about, okay, I picture myself 20 or 40 or 50 years in the future, and I look at, like, if I were at that point, if I had reached that goal at that point, whether it's a year or 5 years or 10 years in the future, how did I get to that point? What actions did I take? What things did I have to learn? Who did I have to meet? Who did I have to talk to? What skills did I need to gain in order to actually get there? So I work from the end backwards. So when I was a kid, I used to love reading books called Choose Your Own Adventure books. And those books, if you haven't read them, were really kind of cool and unique. You start reading a story about, being a spy or some kind of cool adventure, and at different points in the book, you'd have to make a decision. Like, what do you want to enter the spooky house, or do you want to continue down the path or the road in this direction? And based on the path that you chose, you would basically live out a different story in the book, and it allowed you to branch in different directions. And really it's similar to making different life choices in your own life. You make a decision to do something, and your life story is going to change. Well, when I was a kid, I was like, well, I don't like, ending the book in kind of a bad scenario. I want it to end in a different way. So what I would do is I would look at the end of the book, choose the ending I like best, and I would work backwards throughout the book and say, well, how did I get there? How did I get to that good ending that I wanted? And I've kind of looked at life that way, that, if I'm not sure about what to do, like a major life decision. For example, I was, in my early 40s, and I was looking at, having a son with my fiance, and I was like, well, I'm kind of old. I'm not sure if, that's a good decision. And I thought about that a long time, but I looked forward into the future, and I thought, okay, when I'm 60, when I'm 70, when I'm 80, will I be happy with that decision that I made in my 40s to have a child? And I used it from that perspective, looked in the future and looked backwards, and I came to the decision that that would be a worthwhile adventure for me to have a son. And you can use that kind of thinking, that kind of methodology, when you are looking at making a major life decision. A lot of things in life are not easy for us to actually choose one path or another, and that causes people a lot of stress and a lot of turmoil trying to figure out how do they move forward, what's the best action to take, what's the best decision to make. And I think if you project that an outcome or an ideal or a goal into the future, and then you kind of use hindsight, and you look in the rear view mirror as to what it took you to get there, the actions that were required to get you to that point, you're able to more accurately and better decide the goals and the steps that you need to pursue to actually make that end result happen in your life. So use hindsight, use that method, place yourself in the future when you've already obtained that goal, that end result that you want, and look backwards in your life and figure out what are the probable steps that it took to get there. So I also look at when I'm decision making like that, and I say, okay, I want this end result in the future, whatever that might be. Maybe it's a career change or better financial future or a relationship status, whatever it is in the future. And I look back and I go, okay, from where I am right now today, there are multiple ways to get there. Because usually in life, there are multiple options for moving forward. And whatever option you take can lead you in a different direction, but sometimes different paths lead to the same destination. And so you can look at a situation that you want, and you can figure out, okay, here are the possible steps to get there, and there are multiple routes to get there, and kind of map those out, write those down, think about those different steps that you would take to get there. For example, let's say one of my goals was to be a speaker on the Oprah show. That's a pretty big goal. I'm not anywhere where I need to be to appear with Oprah anywhere. But if I were to be in that position, I can think about what did I have to do, working backwards, to actually become that person. I would have to, improve my speaking skills. I would have to get recognized in some fashion. I would have to catch the eye or the ear of Oprah or her people in some way. And I would have to make those connections and build my skill set in order to actually appear with Oprah. So in life, there are multiple paths to choose to move towards a goal like that. And you can take different paths to get where you want to go. But if you think about the end result and you look backwards at the general steps or procedures that you would have to follow and that you would have to take, you can start to get an idea of the things you would have to do. Really important, I think, is not focusing on just a single path to get there. A lot of people, when they'll picture an end goal, something that they want to achieve, they'll think there's just one way to get there. And usually there are multiple ways to get there. Some take a little bit more time, some are a little bit more difficult, a little bit more challenging, but there are multiple ways to get there. And so look at those different ways. Look at all the different options that you can think of right now to move forward towards achieving your goal, and then evaluate those different methods, those different courses of action, and choose one. You don't need to worry about which one is the best necessarily. You take a look at them and you quickly evaluate, here's the most viable solution, here's the most likely course of action that I can take right now, the concrete steps right now to move towards that end goal. And if you start taking action, which is a really important step, you don't want to get stuck in analysis paralysis where you're worried about, are you taking the right steps? Are you doing the right thing, the best thing? You just need to let that go. After you looked at your different options that you think are viable and you choose one, just let go and start taking action towards that goal. You start moving towards it, improving your skill set, improving your knowledge, improving whatever you need, taking the actions and the steps that you need to actually have movement towards that goal. And then you constantly reevaluate where you are as you move forward in time, as you're making progress towards your goal. Constantly reevaluate, because as you move forward in time, closer to your goal, your visibility, your knowledge of what will be required to achieve your end goal, even if you keep that same goal in the future, or maybe your goal might slightly change, the idea of what is required to achieve that goal is going to change. The more you learn, the more you grow, the more things that you do. So constantly, or at least periodically, stop, examine where you've gone on your path, and reevaluate the paths or the steps that would be most viable and best to continue the pursuit of that goal, of that end result. And if you constantly reevaluate where you are, you can get in a position where you essentially have the best possible chances of success when it comes to achieving that goal. So just as a recap, if you're looking to make a major decision in your life and you have some indecision, you're not sure what to do, one, you should use the idea of hindsight. Picture yourself out in the future at some kind of end goal and look back in the future, into the past, and say, what did it take for me to get there? And just use your imagination or think about different concrete steps that it would have taken you for you to get there. Then evaluate multiple different options, because most things in life have different paths to get there. And then you evaluate all the different options, all the different paths, choose the one that is most viable, that requires the least amount of time or the least amount of struggle, and you start taking action. You start moving on that path. And then lastly, you reevaluate periodically or constantly. Is the path that I'm on, is the movement that I'm making, is the progress that I'm making towards an end goal? How is that? How's that working out? And what, if anything, do you need to change to pursue to accomplish that goal easier? So constantly reevaluate where you are and the best paths forward. The best path forward. That's, in my opinion, one of the most effective ways of doing it. I've helped a number of my friends who have been stressed about, big decisions that they wanted to make in life, like should they adopt a child or, pursue a dream of some kind, and they were locked in the situation where they weren't really sure about whether or not they should do it, or maybe the best course of action to take, the best decisions to make to pursue that goal. And I talk with them about using the method of hindsight and the process of evaluating the steps that you take to get from here to that end goal, and that was very helpful for them. I know it's been helpful for me. So I hope that that concept, that methodology of working towards and achieving different big goals, making major life decisions for you is helpful. Now, if you like this video, please share it. I think this is a thing that a lot of people could benefit from. A lot of people are stuck in a position where they're kind of in paralysis, from analysis paralysis. They don't know what to do, and they're kind of locked in this position of inaction because they're worried about which action they should take or what decision they should make. And so this hopefully will be helpful to a lot of people. So if you like it, please share it with your family, with your friends, whoever you think could use some help in making major life decisions in their personal lives. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. I do a lot of videos on personal growth, spirituality, consciousness, and a whole bunch of other topics. And click the bell notification icon so you get notified when I upload new videos. I'd love to have you guys as a subscriber if you're not already. I would really appreciate that. And any comments that you have to help me improve the topics that I'm talking about, please mention those in the comments below, and I'll incorporate those into future video ideas. Anyway, that's it for today. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. And until next time, take care, good luck. We'll see you soon.